Hey, it's another comic review. If you read the title, you'll understand and know that it is a review for Wolverine Origin. It's not a bad story, but the thing is, if you like Wolverine, you probably won't like this story. It doesn't really go into his origins at all. It's just like a fan service book. It shows like, oh, I've been injured and I'm healing really fast. So this guy gives me a book about samurais, which he goes to Japan later on in the Frank Miller Chris Claremont story. Um, and then like his mentor, his name's Smitty. He says bub a lot. That's how he learned to say bub. But I mean, aside from that, I mean, it doesn't really tell the Wolverine of origin. It just says he was a mutant back in the 18th, not the 18th, late 19th, early 20th century. Yeah, there we go. And it just says he's a mutant, and this might be a spoiler, but I don't think it is. His parents were kind of mutants. And there's a lot of family drama that doesn't really go anywhere. Except at the end where the grandpa's like, "Oh, I didn't mean to send them away. Would you go get them?" And the dude's spoiler, the dude who the grandpa goes to track down Wolverine is Wolverine's childhood friend. So, they kind of tease it like he's Sabretooth. But he's really not. He's just really a dude who's real big. I don't, this is like Wolverine gets his powers and then he is, I think the most interesting, well, not the most interesting, but the most Wolverine-esque part of this is where he's rebuilding his memory, air quotes. Anyways, sorry about that. He's air quotes rebuilding his memory, and he does this in a way to where you get the current, canon Wolverine. He says bub, and he learned that from Smitty. He smokes cigars. He learned that from Smitty. He drinks. He learns that from all the other guys in the camp. He likes Jean Grey because he had this childhood friend whose name was Rose, and she had red hair and looked a lot like Jean Grey. Just some really, kind of stupid reasons for why he does these things. I mean, sure, he looked up to Smitty, but I mean, the name Logan came from his childhood friend's father, who was a drunk and beat his son, and I, the story is not, as an origin story, it's not well put together. It's not something you're like people already knew this. He doesn't, he's a mutant. They know where he got his powers. He was born with them, but I do like the idea that Wolverine is really, really old and has fought in several wars, but it doesn't really show in anything else I've read with Wolverine, which is honestly, I don't think I've read anything else with Wolverine, which is why I hope to get the Chris Claremont, Frank Miller Wolverine story, the 4-issue mini. And I mean, it's a good story. So if you're all out of stuff to read, it's a great story, but I mean, it's not a good Wolverine story. It just feels kind of contrived that way. But, there's some okay art. To see the art is often inconsistent. For instance, you'll get a really nice 2-page spread of the James or Logan, however you want to say him, running in the woods, and then when you get up close with a big picture like what I just described, it's like a close up of a camera. He's running through the woods with a bunch of wolves. When it does that, it's okay. But when it's like big picture, real far away, trying to encompass everything, faces look real bad. Um, but if you I'm thumbing through it right now. Probably shouldn't do that on the air. I mean, I reread it recently, a couple weeks ago, and I've already forgotten a lot about it. It's not like I haven't forgotten the basic plot structure, but a lot of the dialogue and the characters are really forgettable. And if you don't like bone claws, then don't get this, but because they're the only claws you get in this. Um, I would maybe borrow it from your local library if they have it, or from a friend. But I wouldn't buy it, so take that for what you will.